Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. Hi. So today's exploration is opinions, and there are a lot of those about at the moment, aren't there? There are a lot of opinions being expressed about all sorts of things, as there always are. I think maybe that never goes away. That's something that is part of life, is that people express their opinions, and that they have a lot more. There's a lot more avenues for us to express our opinions now than there ever has been. Like when I was a girl, bearing in mind I'm 50, there were very few places to express our opinions, not like there are now. But opinions are really, really interesting. And I'm a person who has often had a sense of being right and other people being wrong. That's kind of been my thing quite a lot in life. And I used to think that I had to make other people think the same way as me so that I could make this feeling that I had go away. But I hope this exploration today will help you to see where that's kind of looking in the wrong direction, really. So to bring a bit of lightness to this, I'm going to point to a place where we do take other people's opinions quite lightly and aren't bothered about them. So, back in the day when we used to go out for big meals with people, maybe people are doing that a little bit more now. But let's take the example. When I was a teacher, and a head teacher, we would go out for a Christmas meal and there would be, 20, 30, 40 people, maybe even 50 people there, sometimes on a massive meal out. And everybody would have chosen something different. So there'd be, a starter, a main course and a dessert, coffee and stuff. But the three, in those three options, there would be a myriad of different combinations that people had chosen to eat. And nobody, well, very rarely somebody would say, that's the wrong choice. Your opinion on what you want to eat is invalid or wrong, or we just wouldn't do that, would we? Because I guess what we think is that what other people eat, it doesn't really affect us. It doesn't bother us. So I wonder why it is that other people's opinions look so wrong to us that we feel the need we've got to try and change them. And it's really easy to see that, it takes one poll on social media or somebody asking a fairly inflammatory question, and before you know it, there's an argument going on with people trying to persuade other people that they are wrong and that the other person is right. And I think that drive to do that, and I had a strong drive to do that. It still hangs around sometimes, and I don't always catch myself. And so sometimes I still have that drive to persuade other people to think the same way as me. But I think that drive comes from a misunderstanding about where the feeling that we feel when other people express their opinions is coming from. When somebody else expresses an opinion that we don't like, it can look like the feeling that we have, which may be anger, frustration, probably a bit of superiority. What an idiot for thinking that. Don't tell me that thought has not passed through your mind. No, it's passed through mine. and that brings about an uncomfortable feeling, a knotted up feeling, a feeling that, of frustration, and it can feel quite physiological. It feels like it's in the body. And the thing is, if we think that it's the other person's opinion and their expressing of that is creating that feeling in us, then it looks like there's something to do in the outside world to make to make ourselves feel better, to make that feeling go away. So then we will go into overdrive to try and persuade that other person to behave in the way that we want them to behave, because it looks like if they change their mind, if they express a different opinion, if they express the same opinion as me, then this horrible feeling I have will go away and I can be okay again. But that's embedded in a misunderstanding of where this feeling that we're feeling is really coming from. Because the feeling that we're feeling is our thinking about somebody else's opinion. It isn't the opinion, it isn't the other person. And so when we realize that, and we don't always realize it, but we can be looking in this direction all the time with curiosity. Can I see this in myself? And I guess a place that's where we can really see this is that if we talk, so let's say we've had a conversation with somebody and they've expressed their opinion, and that we've felt something and we've had an argument with them, or we've tried to persuade them of something different. And then we go home and we relay the whole thing to our other half, or we relay a conversation we've had with somebody on social media, or we show it to somebody else and we talk about it. We feel the same feeling. But the other person isn't there in front of us anymore. It's the recounting of it that we feel. So it's always there whenever we think about it. And when we stop thinking about it, it isn't there, even though that person's opinion is still exactly the same. So let's say you're having a conversation with Billy and Billy's expressing a different opinion to you, and you get into a bit of a headbutt with Billy, and then you walk away from Billy and you go talk to Sandra, and she's got the same opinions to you. And so you feel yourself settling down because you're thinking about Sandra's opinion is, oh, she's right like me. And then but Billy's still over there expressing his opinion to Bob. Billy's opinion hasn't changed. It still exists. It's still there. It's still in the world, but you've stopped thinking about it. And so now you don't feel Billy's opinion anymore. You feel Sandra's opinion, and Sandra agrees with you. So that's all good. So can you see how it's always just what we're thinking about that we're feeling? And that's why this is so fun, because you can go out today to meet with a group of people and you can notice you can notice how this is playing out in yourself. But sometimes it's a little bit easier to see it in other people, isn't it? We can see, perhaps you've been in a restaurant when there's been somebody angrily expressing their opinion at a waitress or something like that, and you've gone, oh goodness, that's a terrible way to behave. But of course that person thinks that feeling that they've got that is horrible needs to be addressed by the waitress or whoever it is to make it go away. And that's what drives us, this trying to get rid of our feelings. It's what's driving us all the time. But we're being driven by a really dodgy pilot, a really dodgy chauffeur in that way, aren't we? Because it's a chauffeur that's running with the wrong instructions, doesn't know how the system works. But every time we see this, and as I say, you don't see it all the time. It's a coming and a going. It's there and then it's not. We're caught up and then we see it and we settle down again. And it's just in the seeing of it. It's just in the realization, which can come from the most, unexpected places. But when there is that realization, there is just a falling away. there's a falling away of a need to get somebody else to change their opinion for us to feel okay. And then there can still be an expressing of a difference of opinion, but you'll notice when you don't have that oof behind it, when you don't think your well-being is dependent on somebody else changing their mind, that conversation can just be enjoyable and fun and interesting. Isn't it interesting how two people who perhaps seem similar in lots of ways can have such differing opinions? So there's something to get playful with here. There's something to notice, because it will not be in me sharing this information with you that will necessarily be the moment when you see it. It will be when you notice it in other people, in yourself. There is only one way in which your experience is being created. There's only one place your feelings are coming from 100% of the time, and that is thought in the moment. The more we see this, the more calm and the more clarity there is available to us. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.